Here's a good look at the Filson Journeyman backpack. This is an older model. What the differences are between this model and the current production model. If you want to know what those are, you're going to have to look at the Filson site and then compare it to either my video or somebody else's video, because I'm not going to try to get into the details. Most of the stuff that's different between them that I know of is pretty minor. Yeah, so these are, as far as I know, still made in the United States. And I'm a big fan of buying things that are made in the United States. You know, this one though, I didn't buy new, I bought used. So, you know, there goes that preachy part of my video there to support American manufacturing, because I didn't do that with this one. But I was lucky enough to find a used one, and they're very expensive. As far as I know, they're still $400, and that is not what I paid for this one. So I got a good deal there. And if you're lucky enough to find one of these and you want one and you can get it used, I would suggest you do that. And no, in case anyone asks this time, I am not going to shop for you. You can do your own shopping. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to start first actually with the back. And these are made of all old world materials. There's no nylon in this. There's no modern fabrics in this. It's just cotton and leather. And what we have on the top of the strap is a waxed cotton canvas. Filson calls it tin cloth. If you know anything about Filson, you should be super familiar with tin cloth. In fact, I'm wearing a waxed tin cloth hat right now from Filson. Good material. It's very sturdy, and it is very water resistant and wind resistant. Not that that matters for the straps. The sturdiness matters more than that. Over here we have moleskin on the bottom. In between the tin cloth and the moleskin, we have a very thin layer of padding. The straps themselves are not the most comfortable straps in the world, nor are they the least comfortable straps in the world. If you're going to carry a lot of weight over a long distance, this is not the pack to buy. I'm 6'2.5" and 250 pounds. And I keep this pack adjusted to the tightest setting. So I get it as close to my back as possible. And it is probably just a little bit too small for me. But at the weights that I'm carrying with it, you know, which is usually 25 to 35 pounds, and the relatively short distances I'm using it over, it's just fine for me. And moving on down here, we have a leather belt, basically, with just a regular leather belt style enclosure down here. So that's how you adjust it. And again, very sturdy. You have, forgive me if I said this already, this is twill, cotton twill. It's not waxed back here. So this is very thick. It's thicker than the tin cloth, and it's probably tougher than the tin cloth, but it is not waxed. So if you get too much water on this, it will soak through. Although I've never had that happen, and I've had this out in some pretty decent rainfall. The leather's very tough, and Filson has excellent warranty. Down here where the leather belt attaches to the pack at the bottom, you do have more tin cloth, and the stitching is excellent. The bottom of the pack and a little bit up the sides of the bottom of the pack is also unwaxed twill. It's either unwaxed or it's very, very lightly waxed. They do both at Filson, and I don't know what they did on this pack, and I don't know what they're doing on the new packs. Again, the new packs are different than these older ones in some ways. We have a leather grab handle that is attached to the twill back by a twill strip. It's very securely attached. I've read of people having problems with these separating. I haven't had that problem, but again, I'm not like packing this thing full of, you know, 60, 80 pounds of gear. It's probably too small to get, you know, 80 pounds in it. If you put 60 pounds in it, you're probably just carrying like a chunk of lead around with you. But I'm sure it can handle it. It's a very well-built pack. And as you can see, mine droops. Unfortunately, I have stupidly used this as a little like clipper to hang keys and stuff on, and that has trained it to fall down. That is my problem, not the pack's problem, because the leather is just doing what leather does. When I first got it, it was up just as it should be. And so I would suggest don't hang things on this unless you like getting this in the back of your neck when you're wearing your pack. Turning it around to the front, we have a front pouch. The front pouch is very large, and it has a flapper here that snaps to this little apparatus here. So you can actually clip stuff into this canvas I don't know what the heck you call that, a loop, canvas loop with the snap attachment. So you can open the flap, and that's how you access your front pocket. The front pocket also has snaps on each side to tighten it up a little bit so that if it's not completely full and you don't need that extra room, the pocket will sit under the flap. If you leave the buttons undone, you know, it's possible that this could open in this manner and you could get water in there if it was raining. Now that has never happened to me, and I have had this out in the rain with both of these buttons unsnapped. Nothing's got wet in there, but it's possible, right? So as you can see, this is with the pocket fully expanded. There's some pen organization and a large pouch over here for like a notepad. I have a hand warmer in there and a Swiss Army knife in there. And then a little personal medical kit there. It's fairly large, and some medical items and a toothbrush, and I got a headlamp in there. And you know, it's a good pocket. It's a good sized pocket. So I'll shove everything I have in there, kind of see if I can angle that your way. It's a deep pocket, it's a wide pocket, and it's just sort of a dump pocket. There's not a ton of organization in it other than the pen area. And it works for me. Everyone has different requirements, right? This works perfectly fine for me. And I have no problem when I expand the pocket. I can shove like my kid's jacket in there if I want. There's lots of space. This has a leather flap up here, and again, another tin cloth loop here. By the way, all the tin cloth on the front of this is waxed. So it is very water resistant. And then all the hardware is brass. So as you can see, there's also a flap covering the zipper area of the main pocket. And the zipper area is dual brass zippers with leather pulls. Beautiful, buttery smooth operation. You know, that's what you ought to expect if you're gonna pay that much. Inside, starting from the back, I'll roll it back here a little bit. We have these bellows. They're made out of twill. No, wait a minute. That actually looks like tin cloth. I'm pretty sure that's tin cloth, but it's not waxed. The inside is not waxed. This is all, you know, cotton on the inside lining, and it's nowhere near as tough as the stuff on the exterior. And these little guys keep the main pocket from falling out too far. You do have good access though into the main compartment. So in the back we have a laptop area. It's very thinly padded. I would say it's so thinly padded that it's really not going to offer any protection to your laptop from the contents inside the main pouch. That's why I have this leather sleeve. And that's what I'll put my MacBook in, is inside this leather sleeve inside the backpack to add that extra protection. The other reason I like the leather sleeve is that it adds body to the pack. This pack does not have any kind of rigid structure in it. So if you throw it down, it's just going to collapse. And that is kind of annoying because a lot of new packs do have that nice rigid structure in them. And I like it when they kind of stand up. But adding this in here kind of helped me with that problem, as well as providing excellent protection to my laptop. So I'll go ahead and pull that out. Halo chest seal, The Witcher. Well, I think I got a little parking pass in there. Yeah. And as you can see, it's a pretty large pouch. I put in a 13-inch MacBook Air and still have room for all the other things that are in there. It doesn't disrupt. I think a 15-inch laptop will fit in there. Unless it's an exceptionally large one, it should be able to fit comfortably in that pouch, and you should be able to zip it up and not have any problems there. I'm gonna go ahead and put my things back in the main pouch. Okay, excuse me, the laptop pouch. The main pouch I don't have anything in right now. It's, you know, decent size. I would say the main pouch is like the size of a typical kid's school bag. You know, you could probably fit like 3 or 4 textbooks in it, you know, whatever that means. But yeah, so it's fairly large. Inside there's also, toward the front, an unzippered dump pouch, and it's fairly large. Inside that I keep some tools. I keep a tourniquet and a bandana, and then my gloves. You know, I just kind of shove them in there. And it's a sizable pouch. I mean, I'll pull everything out. You know, there's a bandana. There's some tools. And that's nice to have that, especially for my tools, because I use these tools frequently. So it's nice to have relatively quick access to them. And then in front of that, we have a zippered pouch. Again, brass hardware. It's reinforced well. And I keep my glasses, my sunglasses, some other odds and ends inside there. I keep in a plastic bag for, you never know when you're going to need a plastic bag. It's a kind of handy thing to have. Yeah, and it's pretty deep. Like, as you can see, I can fit, my hand is pretty big. I can fit my whole hand in there up to my wrist. And all this stuff fits in there with a little bit of room to spare. In fact, I could throw my tools or everything I keep in this dump pouch in there as well. I just choose not to do that because, you know, I got my glasses in there. So, yeah. And as you can see, the inside is tan. It has a little green in it, but the tan is nice because it makes it easier for you to see the items that you actually keep in your pack. And yeah, so for my urban lifestyle, where I'm bicycling around a lot or riding my electric scooter or doing dad things at the park, or, you know, hiking through our local parks or going out in the woods and doing that stuff, this pack works great. No complaints. I've never had anything get wet. I've been out in the rain with it quite a bit. You know, we don't have rain here in the Pacific Northwest that is typically like what you get in like Hawaii or the South, you know, where it's just dumping like crazy. That does happen here, but it's pretty rare. Most of the rain we get is drizzly, kind of slow, or it cycles where it'll be like kind of moderately heavy, and then it'll be like really light for a couple hours, and it'll be moderately heavy for 15 minutes. And so, you know, with that in mind, being out in the rain for, I would say, periods of 2 to 3 hours with the pack, I've never had anything get wet, even when the cotton's kind of been soaked up, you know, and the weight of the pack has increased. Also, you know, you can expect packs built this way to be heavier than more modern packs just because of the materials. So, you know, this pack is probably for people that have more money than sense. That's number one. Two, are diehard on supporting American business or American-made items. And I probably fall into both those categories sometimes. You know, maybe I flip-flop between the two. And three, again, I fall into this category, people that like old world materials. You know, I'm not a big fan of modern synthetics. I'm not trying to talk trash about them because they have their place. And there are activities that certain people engage in that I do not engage in, where synthetic materials might be the best answer. Because I don't do those activities, I don't have an opinion on it. So there you go. But for my activities, I like cotton and wool. Those are my two favorite. In particular, waxed cotton. I found waxed cotton to be extremely durable, extremely wind resistant, and water resistant enough for the activities which I engage in, which is typically just, you know, urban outdoor activities, the occasional forays into the woods, and then just, you know, urban dad stuff, just getting around, trying to get in and out of the house and doing work outside and all that stuff. Oh yeah, and work, of course, you know, working outside. Most of the time when I'm working outside, I have access to shelter in some fashion. So if the weather gets really bad, you know, like I can take a break in a heated area or a covered area. So it's not like I just have to be out 8 hours in the rain all day. So take that for what it's worth. You know, I don't know if wax cotton is necessarily the best option for those environments. You know, when it's really rainy and I have to be outside, I use vulcanized rubber typically, but that has its drawbacks too. So yeah, so that's a look at the Filson Journeyman. I think there's a decent amount of info on YouTube about these already. I just wanted to throw mine out there since I have one and I could review it. So hopefully that was useful and or enjoyable. And as always, I'm happy to answer questions. So long as you understand, I can only answer questions as they pertain to me. I cannot predict how it's going to work for you and your situation, because you and your situation are not the same as my situation or me or what my preferences are. So I'll do the best I can, but I get a lot of people that ask questions about like, is this going to work for me? And I understand it's probably a really unsatisfactory answer to get if you're in that position, but I don't know. You know, I'm not going to take the blame if your choice doesn't work out for you. So, you know, but it works great for me. And if your use is similar to my use and your build is similar to my build, then it should probably work about the same for you too. But you still might not like it, or you might like it more than I do. Who knows? All right, man. Take care.